This is what my Ridgeline cardigan looks like right now. I've achieved my desired height, so I'm actually going to break off into 3 separate sections now. This is one front panel. This in the center here is the back panel, and over here is another front panel. So if you only have one cord, like the one that you're working with, you're going to place these stitches onto a piece of scrap yarn because we're only going to be working the front panel now and building up that height. However, I do have an extra cord, so I'm actually going to place my 8mm needles onto here and work off this cord for the front panel. So then the rest of these stitches will remain on this cord until I'm ready to work with them. I've just built up the height of the first front panel. So this is 7 inches for a size small medium. So I'm actually going to cut the yarn here, and then I'm going to rejoin the yarn. So this is the second front panel. I'm going to move these stitches onto another cord, and then I'm going to rejoin the yarn here and start building up this height of the second front panel. I've finished building up the height of the second front panel, so I'm going to cut the yarn over here, and I'm going to rejoin over here and build up the height of the back panel now. So as you can see, I've finished the first front panel, second front panel, and then we're going to work on the back panel now. So if you had your back panel stitches on a piece of scrap yarn, you can put them on a cord, but as you can see, this was the very original cord. So these are all ready to go. I just need to switch these needles to 8mm, and then I can build up this height now. Now I've built up the height of the back panel, so as you can see, everything matches up. So next we're going to do the shoulder seams with a 3 needle bind off. So I'm going to fold this like this, and then I'm going to fold this side. So over here, these are the armholes. Over here are the tops of the panels. So what we're going to do is, we have live stitches here and live stitches here. We're going to do the 3 needle bind off over here, cast off these stitches in the back panel, and then do the 3 needle bind off over here, because we kept live stitches on all of these sections, so that way we don't have to do any whip stitching. I'm about to do the 3 needle bind off so that I can do this shoulder seam. This is the top of my front panel. As you can see, there are live stitches. This is the top of the back panel with live stitches. So I want the right sides to be facing together with the wrong sides facing outwards, because there's going to be a visible seam. So we want to have that on the inside. Now I'm going to get my 3rd needle, insert into the first loop as if you're just regularly knitting. We're also going to insert into the first loop on the other needle. I know it feels a bit awkward at first. Now we're going to yarn over, pull through like this so that we've knit those 2 together. Next we're going to do the same thing, insert into that first loop on the other needle, yarn over and pull through. Now that we have 2 stitches, we're going to pull that over so that we are casting off at the same time. So I'm going to continue working this across. I finished doing the 3 needle bind off for the first front panel, so as you can see, this is what that ridge looks like. And check out how beautiful this seam is. Look, it perfectly matches up, nice and clean. So now that we're done doing that, we're going to just go across the back panel. We're going to go for your desired number of stitches, and then we're going to be seaming the second front panel. So for this, we're just going to knit across like this and cast off like normal. Pull one over like this, and you're going to go across. I've casted off the stitches over here on the back panel, and as you can see, now we're approaching the second front panel, so the number of stitches should perfectly match up. So once again, we're going to do the 3 needle bind off across this shoulder seam here. So this is the wrong side. As you can see, there's a 3 needle bind off, casting off stitches here, 3 needle bind off, so the shoulder seams are done. This is what we have once we flipped it right side out. This is the right side. The shoulder seams are complete. Now we can pick up the stitches around here and work a collar. I just wanted to show you close up. So here are the beautiful shoulder seams made by the 3 needle bind off. And here are the armholes, so that the armholes are right there. Now I'm going to pick up stitches around the collar so I can give it more of a cleaner edge. I'm picking up stitches along the collar, so I wanted to show you how I'm doing that. This is the selvage edge, and you can see this is your first complete V. So I'm actually going to go in between right over here, and we're picking up 3 out of every 4 stitches. So I've picked up 1 here. You can see there's this gap here. I'm going to pick up that stitch. 3 is over here, because I picked up 1 before, that was 2, 3. Now I'm going to skip this next one, and then I'm going to go into here. So we're going to keep on picking up stitches around the entire collar. I've picked up all the stitches around the collar, and as you can see here, I've worked a couple of rows just of ribbing because I want a subtle collar, nothing too much to take away from the ridge design over there. So now I'm going to cast off these stitches. As you can see, I've worked the collar over here, and next it's time to pick up the sleeves. Since this is a seamless design, we're going to be picking up stitches around this armhole instead of doing the sleeve separately and then seaming it in. So this makes it really fun and easy. You're actually going to use your 16-inch circular needles to pick up the stitches, and you're going to work in continuous rounds. Now we're going to be picking up stitches along this edge and this edge between there. So for example, right over here, right over here. So I'm going to insert my needle. I recommend leaving a long initial yarn tail because then you can use this yarn tail later to seam any holes that may be at the armpit. So pick up this one. Next we're going to go here, yarn over, pick up a loop, yarn over, pick up this stitch. Now we're not going to pick up every single stitch around this armhole. Check your desired number of stitches for your size and know that by the shoulder seam you should reach the halfway point. So I'm going to continue going around picking up stitches until we reach the circle. Now as you can see, I've picked up all my desired number of stitches around the armhole. So I'm going to place my stitch marker to help me indicate the beginning of the round, and now I can begin working in continuous rounds. So I'm just going to be knitting around like this, and then I can pull this to make it tighter. So I'm going to keep going around. Once I reach the stitch marker, then I know I've completed 1 round. And this part's really fun because you keep knitting around and around. I'm at the point in my work in progress where I can try on my cardigan. So as you can see, I've done the ribbing, I've picked up the stitches for the sleeve, and I've been working in continuous rounds, which is extremely fun. And the great thing about this design is that you can try it on and adjust the sleeve length as you go. So at this point, I'm going to start doing the decrease rounds and working the cuff, the ribbing. So you can see here, I'm going to do the exact same thing later on over here. And I want to show you something. So if you want more coverage here, you'll notice that the sleeve goes up. But if you want to wear it more open, then the sleeves actually go down more. So you can see how you want to wear it and how long you want the sleeve to be. So if you want it to be longer, you can just keep on doing some more rounds before you work the decreases and the ribbing. But I love how you can try it on as you go and see how you like the fit and the length of the sleeves. I'm working on my sleeve here, and as you can see, I've switched to 6.5mm needles. I did 2 decrease rounds here. You can see this beautiful shape. And now I'm working on the ribbed cuff. I am still using my 16-inch circular needles, but as you can see, it's much smaller. But I can continue using this because I don't actually own double point needles or DPN, so I'm going to show you how I do it. I actually pull the cord back here, shift these stitches onto here, and kind of move these stitches here. So as you can see, there's some extra cord here and here. So it's a little cumbersome, but you can still work the stitches on these 16-inch needles just by working the stitches around like this. So I'm just rotating the stitches on when I need them, and this is knit 1, purl 1 for the ribbing. And you're just going to keep rotating the stitches around like this. So I keep going. And I'll show you what we do once we've reached this end. Okay, so we've reached this end, we're back to this. So I'm just gonna pull maybe this section now. Move these, so you're just constantly shifting stitches onto these 2 needles and pulling out the cord like that. So you keep going around as you work up this ribbed cuff here. I just casted off all of the stitches and I want to show you what I do next. So I'm going to pull this through, but as you can see there's this kind of gap here. So I'm going to thread the yarn tail through a yarn needle like this. So I'm going to try to join this up so it looks more seamless. So I'm going to go through both stitches here, both loops I mean, and then I'm going to go back through here. And if you see, this is kind of mimicking a stitch, so now it looks a lot more seamless. Now I'm going to flip this and I'm going to work on weaving in this end just in a bunch of different directions, and then we are good to go. This is what my beautiful Ridgeline cardigan looks like. I love the fit, these gorgeous textured ridges. Check out the sleeves. Here's the side, this is what the back looks like. And the entire design is seamless, so I hope you enjoyed seeing how I worked up all the different parts. It works up very quickly and it's so warm and cozy. And I hope you enjoy knitting your own Ridgeline cardigans.